Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Pirates of Borealis mod. Last time around we managed to end, more or less, the British in North America, although the Cherokee had actually done most of the work for us already. What's left of the British army is kind of stuck in enemy territory, and they've got nowhere to go. Either they can try and head inland and then meet the hordes of Cherokee warriors, or they can head for the coast and meet the fortified town centers that we hold. Now, Britain, of course, is not completely forced out. They still have some outlying settlements, but none of these, I think, will stand much against us. And I've got my stacks on the way. I didn't realize I had 2 stacks here that had not been ordered out. But as you can see, we are good on our way of removing this entirely. And then we took Ireland. So what is left is London and then Scotland up here. I think you knew geography, you know where Scotland is. But the problem is, of course, that unforeseen circumstances, I was worried about the British Navy attacking my trade fleet. They went one step further. They attacked the centers of my trade. My main port, which is Malmö right here, which sees all of the trade coming into Sweden goes through the port in Malmö, which meant that my trade went from like 110,000 down to 17,000, leaving me bankrupt. So if this continues, we'll see a major catastrophe, economic catastrophe. What was that? Say that twice, apparently, was really hard. So yeah, we need to rectify this problem as soon as possible. Now, luckily for me, I do have a navy ready to send, and so we're gonna go ahead and attack the British fleet here. We're gonna go ahead and take them out, and then we're gonna head for another siege, which is gonna be London. This time around, though, I wonder, because there's a potential here for an outer assault, and I would rather sort of focus in on a land battle, because they actually have an army up here that could potentially actually be drawn out into a land battle. What I could do is I could continue to see war awareness minus 15. Damn. That's a lot. I could try and siege them out, to continuously siege them, and see if that works to bring them down. The thing about that, though, is the longer the British Navy, or this war goes on, the more mischievous things the British Navy might come up with. And they have been a little bit all over the place, attacking trade routes and so on. And I'm just waiting for them to go ahead and turn up somewhere where my big trade fleets are. I did move the army here, or the let's see, the army that I had down here. I moved them with my frigate fleet over here as a halfway point on the way to Bahamas, and it turns out that they actually have an army there. I just noticed another British Navy, pretty significant one, with second-rate ships. 3 of them, and I think you can. There's a limit of 8 of these. So the fact that 3 of them are here is significant force. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start off with a naval battle, and then I think I'm gonna end turn, and I want to see if they try to move south, or what else happens. The main thing is, though, the ports need to open. I need to make money again, because now when I don't have money, I can't resupply my armies, and especially the army in the siege of Quebec, that took a heavy toll on that army and lost like 2,000 men. So that would be a problem. So I would definitely like to resupply them as soon as possible. While the British have lost all the major recruitment centers in North America, they still have quite a few armies. Right, so this is what we're up against. It's going to be important here. This fleet survived since last time. I'm going to have to detach a ship specifically to make sure that I sink these and sink the army they carry with them. I was actually planning on going this way and attacking this specifically. Attacking it this way is actually better, because now the reinforcement fleet is going to turn up behind me, which means that I'm going to have a closer distance to close with this reinforcement fleet, and it's going to be easier for me to sink it. Most likely they're going to go ahead and surrender really soon. God damn it, what happened here? Right, so I don't know where it cut off because of some pop-up or whatever, but basically what we're gonna do, if I go back to it, just reiterate, because I'm not entirely sure broke me out of my stride. Basically what we're gonna do, because these guys are gonna come up behind me, they're gonna come in closer, so I'm gonna detach a ship, we're gonna send that ship up, they're gonna surrender, and as they surrender, I'm gonna keep firing on them and make sure that they sink. Hopefully even might explode, and that would be rather nice. But with that, let's go ahead and have our naval battle, and then we can focus on the land war. here's the result of the naval battle. It was actually a lot harder than I thought, well, partly because of my own mistake. I dispatched San Sebastian to deal with the two ships that were going to join in, the reinforcement ships. And I think that was too great of an asset to send after those. Now, granted, he did sink the two ships. However, what happened is that in the main fleet action, the enemy was actually able to outgun me early on. Or, well, I killed their lead ship, their second rate. I was able to take that one out. But quickly after that, the rest of the British fleet was able to successfully cut down and sink a lot of my ships, or turn them into, also forcing them to surrender, which led to me having very few ships left. So at the end here, the two ships that actually did the most work and should have the most commendable is the Ulrika Eleonora, Queen Ulrika Eleonora, which did the most, and then also the Elephant, which was hanging on by a thread, but because of its superior range of its guns, I was able to micromanage it, constantly evading British fire while laying down fire on the enemy, and eventually an advantage where I only had Ulrika and the Elephant left against 5 British ships. I was able to turn that advantage into victory. San Sebastian, unfortunately, it was downwind, and it would have taken the full hour for him to be able to join the others. So he did his job, but unfortunately I could have probably saved more of my fleet if I had sent a smaller ship to deal with the reinforcement. But I wanted to make sure that the army sank with those ships. Luckily though, enough of the British fleet was taken as prize, so I will have 6,700 gold after this, which will allow me to, with this, not only secure my ports, but now repair them. So hopefully we don't now I'll be able, because I had so little money, there was very little chance of me being able to repair my ports. So I would have, if I wouldn't have repaired the ports right now, I would have had to wait 2 turns until I received money, and that would have caused a lot of problems for me. A lot. So in this case, it worked out just well. So the ports gonna be open by the start of next turn. I'm gonna be able to receive money, and disaster avoided. With that, let's go ahead and end turn and see what the British bring up in response. Well, would you look at that? We don't have to wait long. The British in London actually sally forth, and we will have ourselves a fight. It is overwhelmingly in my odds. I have close to 15,000 men against their 6,000. However, if I don't completely destroy them, then we'll retreat back into the castle. However, whatever force survives, I'll be sure to easily out-resolve. The thing we need to remember, though, is I'm at the verge of bankruptcy. Any troops I lose here, I cannot replace. So that needs to be kept in mind. With that said, let's go ahead and draw ourselves into battle against Xavier Bull in the defense of London. An army that is a little bit smaller than usual. I realized that 1 cavalry unit was... I forgot to bring that one in. With that said, let's go back to my introduction. This army is a little bit smaller than usual. We're missing 10 units, but I think we'll be fine. Oh, okay. Right. They were gonna sally forth to force a battle, they start completely within the castle. I thought they were gonna do what they usually do, is line through the castle and you fight like that. Now this is completely different. I think it's good though, because I'm attacking through the wooded area, which obviously is gonna soak up a lot of my cannonballs, but it's also gonna soak up their cannonballs. But this might prove a little bit of a problem. So I've put my stronger troops on the left side, which is the Helsinki Finnish infantry, which is very good infantry unit. Or, I mean, they're the same as the others. It's just that they've got a lot of veterancy. If you remember that one battle where the enemy actually did sally forth out of their wooden castle, and the 2 battalions, these 2 right here, did really well against the enemy. And I put my weaker troops on the right side because I didn't really expect them to come there. So the Jönköping regiments, I call them weaker because they start with 1 point less in morale than the rest of the similar troops. However, you're able to recruit a lot more of those. And then in the center we got Västerbotten, which I don't have much to say about. Besides cheese! Right, the British are gathering all their troops up on the main wall here. It becomes a big problem when they basically has forced me to do the siege that I didn't want to do. Which is so odd and stupid. Right, well, it's a siege, but... or it's a they sally forth out of their fort. However, to force a battle, but the battle is forced with us still doing the fort. I'm gonna test, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna send my heavy cavalry and my dragoons around. The dragoons are gonna dismount and we're gonna see about claiming the back wall. And I'm gonna bring in my heavy cavalry to kind of just attack into all these cannons which they've put on top of each other. I don't think it's gonna go that well because the enemy has got a lot of cavalry, and I can see what looks like guard cavalry. Guard cuirassiers with pistol, that is not the unit that I'm looking for. It's the other guys with the fancy hats. Otherwise though, I think it looks okay right now. The enemy has gathered all their troops along these walls right here. We've already broken this down to 24%, 25, which is good. Once we get to 50, we'll get a break in the wall and a load of their troops are gonna die. Jesus Christ. Oh no, I thought that he has a white mustache, but from afar, from kind of where I was looking, it kind of looked like he had a big grinning smile. Or like he's gritting his teeth, and I saw his big white teeth. 27. Let's see, my dragoons can get past here without getting completely destroyed by the 48th Garrison Regiment, which guess forgot to load the cannons, and I somehow managed to escape that with only a handful of casualties. This guy riding on his own in front of the enemy. Right, the heavy cavalry has successfully gone around with only 4 casualties, and the dragoons similarly has made it to the back side there. I think what we can do is to speed up the process, is to order the grenadiers forward to aid in breaking the wall. Perhaps though I will attack this side because there's more troops there. Well, now they're switching 3 regiments there. So, and I think perhaps I want to come at it from a little bit of an angle. And we can see about breaking this part. Okay, so the enemy's cavalry is on the move. And I definitely don't want to be caught unaware of that. Could be that they're going for my grenadiers, which haven't actually made it that far. your way up closer here, so that we get, and then we can start shooting at the cavalry which is coming out. And I'll have the grenadiers. We can have the grenadiers still advancing towards the... No, they're coming out of that gate there. They're not coming out of the back gate just yet. They're actually dismounting. Oh no, they're sending troops. Scotland squad. The Scotland squad. I'll send the cavalry then to deal with the enemy, and you'll have to mount up again. Clearly we were not fast enough. Hold, and you can form a square, and then we're skirmishing with the woods. I think the grenadiers, it's okay for them to advance now. I was hoping the Jönköping regiment would be able to fire on these before they arrived. Clearly that was not the case, and we ended up losing about 60 men. I'll be able to form square though. Right, the dragoons and the heavy cavalry failed in their task in trying to... British was simply too fast for me. And now they've pulled troops from the front wall, which I don't like. I want more of their troops to be on the front wall. Actually, you two can be in line now. Hopefully shoot these. Okay, the grenadiers have made it up to the wall. It's at 53%. Run up in front and throw grenades and blow that thing sky high. All my troops here are firing towards the dragoons. So that just tells you just how good damn, this Westerbork regiment has already lost 100 men. The wood is covering so well. Have you guys thrown your grenades? No, they're just throwing them right now. So one regiment just throw them. Hopefully the other one. And of course, just as they throw them, the enemy decides to run away. Probably because they want to come down and fight the grenadiers or something. God damn it. Is there anyone close to the gate? No. I'm moving over the grenadiers, and we're going to see about doing the same thing over on this side. Meanwhile, I'll order all the troops to hold fire, because you're just... At this point, you're just wasting powder. So they brought down 2. Still loads of troops over here. Let's see if we can't break it right here. That would be wonderful. Look at how many regiments. Even if I break it at 50%, look at all the troops that are on the stairwell right now. The British are wising up, and looks like they're leaving. They too are leaving. Them, trying to leave the wall. I think we blew up a load of our own. Perhaps we should, rather than stand close to it, we should stand a little bit further back. The battle for London is not going according to plan right now. Did you throw grenades? We're only up at 30. We're not doing a good job of blowing up the wall. I imagine though that the problem is that most grenades do not reach top wall, and then they just fall down. Ah, look at the amount of troops there though. There is a lot of grenades being thrown. Most of which... There we go! Holy heck! Holy hecking smoking balls, Batman! Look at the amount of dead troops. London walls are falling. I wondered though what happened to this regiment. They focused in so heavily on the 45th Regiment. I'm gonna order the Grenadiers back and see if they want to remount the wall or if they want to just run around like idiots again. As I'm hoping that I'll be able to destroy the wall with a lot of these troops on top of it, so I don't have to fight them all. Right, the British troops are sallying forth, and as you can see, they are now fighting with the best Westbottom regiments. Also, we got some militia troops here, and a number of garrison foots fighting over here. As this one is the most heavily onset unit, I've moved the cavalry to back them up. Once they break, the cavalry will move in. There's quite a few enemy units up front here, and I'm wondering if I can get my grenadiers around and throw grenades at them. This one is actually the one that looks like he wants to break. What I can do is I can form them into square, and I can move the cavalry in between. Because right now, when the troops kind of go to the side, the cavalry should be able to. It's still gonna sweep into my square. And it's gonna make it a little bit easier for my troops to attack. So unfortunately, that one Westbottom, and looks like the other one as well, it's going to be run over by my cavalry, forced to retreat. But we are dealing with enemy units without having to fight them to death inside the castle, which is always a bonus. And I want to go through this garrison infantry, and I want to hit these dragoons. And look at that, the enemy units gone. Is there another one wants to come out? Right, there's just too many of them. Somehow we need to end this quickly. I need to break the wall here, and I need to find as many ways in as possible while I break the enemy. Right, these two actually rallied. How nice. Right, this one's an 81%. I think the Grenadiers can aid with that part of the wall. Or perhaps they should actually go to this side and try to blow their way through where there's loads of troops. Trying to melee my way through the castle is not gonna work. That has failed so many times before. And it's definitely gonna fail again if I try it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to slowly and methodically work our way through the British troops, and hopefully at the end of it not sustain too many casualties. Gonna bring up the Grenadiers here. See about blowing these big formations of enemy units away. No, they're moving into square. Maybe I shouldn't move too close to the square. Meanwhile, we're getting attacked here from all sides by Squad Guard's allies. But I'm more interested to see what happens with this provincial infantry, which is now engulfed in hand grenades, to the point that the regiment was destroyed and forced away. Wonderful. Let's see if we can't do that again. Oh, what did I do now? Oh, I got all of these. That's very unnecessary. What's this? British Dragoons? Where the crap did they come from? I forgot about them. Form square. Okay. Let's see if the Grenadiers can't continue to blow the troops up here. And then there's the continuous stream of enemies getting killed here. Oh, we lost that regiment. I thought it was just repositioning. I want the constant stream of grenades going into this opening. Blowing those enemies to hell. The enemies sallying forth. That we don't like. We're gonna move back. You two are gonna hold fire. You should turn your attention against... Well, it looks like we at least are dragging those 5 regiments out of the center. Ah, we opened up the whole another area here. Volunteer Regiment of Scotland. They've abandoned this wall now. Good. I will order these 4 regiments then to seize this part of the wall. And then you will move on an angle like that. And we'll see about continuously... Oh, wait, they are firing explosive shot. I thought I was the only smart one here with technology. We need to get the troops out of there. And keep luring the British troops into this trap and shooting them to bits. It's actually a... Now it seems like it's actually a really bad part attacking here, because since... we are trying to shoot them while they're in the woods. Most of the shots are getting soaked up in the woods, which allow the enemy to sally forth here without suffering much casualties. I will be able to secure this wall though, which could open up for my basically non-existent cavalry. These 2 units should actually leave. I need reinforcements. We have enemies turning up behind us. Squad allies. We have 2 regiments out there, and I figured this one would be easy enough to break, and before this one sets up I should attack that one as well, which leaves 2 here. I don't like it though that they still have a cuirassier unit inside that could cause quite the trouble for me to quickly just seize the inner center there. Right, the cavalry has successfully forced 1 unit away. I want you to move through and then come back and strike this one in the back. Oh, they moved into square, did they? Right, we're gonna have to order the cavalry to withdraw and then regroup. Oh, looks like the enemy might be coming out here. Good idea to send in the grenadiers then. The old duffers. The old duffers are getting shot to pieces. Once they were in square, they might have been safe from cavalry. They're easy targets for my musketeers. Okay, they're moving a lot of troops over to this side. I figure the cavalry can now make another sweep at them, and I'll move these 2 plus the grenadiers to harass at this corner while the cavalry deals with these, and then we'll see about blowing our hole through here as well. And now my troops are taking control of this wall. I'm gonna move the remaining cavalry unit, the dragoons, to deal with that. I wonder if this line infantry unit that is holding up this space here could potentially be lured out of that hole by my troops. Right, grenadiers, I want you up into that breach and then throw grenades. Right, this is open now. However, they've placed a unit right square in the middle. As sieges go, this one continues to be a problem for me. Reinforcements, good. Scotland squad is back to receive grenadiers. Oh, and they're moving into the grenades. Wonderful. Concentration here. It's hopefully going to work quite well. My troop is actually... I think they accidentally blew themselves up in the process. And also the fact that the enemy started firing at them. Quite unfortunate. Oh, friendly fire from the troops behind perhaps as well. Cavalry, of course, not been able to force their way through, but they might be able to drag them out, in which case they will be susceptible to the morale drop and hopefully force them out. The last thing I need is a general joining in. Right. We are actually successfully leveling volleys into these troops. I just need to order more men to go ahead and join in firing at the enemy. And then slowly cut this regiment to pieces, and then I have my entrance into the fort. Oh yeah, I should tell the troops on the wall to open fire. This one, I will order it to sneak inside, take control of this building, to cause a bit of mischief. This one has only lost 30 men. This is why I said Jönköping is a worse regiment. It has lost 30 men, it's safe high on the wall, and it's still like losing somehow. I'll order these two down. You'll stay on top of the wall. You should be firing. Right, soon enough the enemy here, I'm hoping, will be forced to break, in which case these regiments can force their way through. Oh, what the hell? You decided to move down and now you leave the entire place. What a great story. Grenadiers are back. This time around, could you please not blow yourself up? Perhaps they were throwing grenades or landing in a tree. 44 men. Oh, and just in time for them to put another regiment to block my entrance. Trying their best. Did we seize another wall part? Or what was that? No, the building! Ah. We should see fire coming out of here soon. Not that it's super effective. I wish they could put... Oh, they can put 2 people. I was about to say they should at least put 2 people in each window. Be able to gain some kind of fire out of that. We haven't... They're right in front of you. Still, you do not manage to shoot a single one. I have, however, managed to get these 2 inside. That they will now level volleys into the back of the enemy. The 6th Regiment of Foot will die in dishonor. They rout before they even really have a fight. All the cavalry should be ordered here. Another general. And horse grenadiers! Horse grenadiers, though. That's what I want to see. Horse grenadiers. They've grenades. They do not have that much ammo, but they fire at a longer range. And that is perfect. What are you firing at? Oh, you're firing at the cavalry, are you? I want you to move forward. Give a little... Actually, this one should move forward. And level fire on these, while you move to deal with these. Meanwhile, these men are now coming through, which this one simply ordered this way. One will be ordered towards that, and then one towards the center. Right. So we are slowly but surely winning this battle. Let's avoid friendly fire, so you can move to that side. And then the horse grenadiers will ride up and see about firing some shots into this gap. I will order you to do volleys against that, you against that, you against that, and you into this mess. And then you trading with the British across from here. And suddenly, it's all looking rather well. The enemy's cavalry unit slaughtered by being fired upon from all sides. Since that is happening, I'm going to order you to move that, and we're going to shoot the British troops here from all sides. The horse grenadiers just fired. I don't know what they were aiming for, but I should probably give them a target, because clearly they were firing at the completely asinine target. The British troops are so confident they're actually charging out after the 6th. The infamy of the 6th will live forever. And now, final British troops here, surrounded. I think the horse grenadiers. Perhaps what I should do is I should bring them in through here. Then they can sit behind a regiment of infantry and fire above it onto the troops below. Oh, you're out of ammo? Let's bring these two in. Let's bring the horse grenadiers in. Right, looks like they're about to surrender this fort outside London. Building after building is being taken over. They do have the sea wolves up here on the wall. Perhaps I was talking about trying to save the amount of lives. Maybe not have the unit just stand there, take and receive fire. Oh, more of these are actually out of ammo. I have one unit here that can take its spot. And then the horse grenadiers will set up right behind, ready to fire their shots into that. Hopefully we don't break down the entire building, bring down the entire building on top of us while we're doing that. And can you move through? Just get all of that. Alright, the troops setting up. The horse grenadiers getting ready. Oh, they all fired at the same time? Is it because it's a dragoon unit or something? Or why? Oh, the enemy is leaving over here? They want to give up that way? Oh. I want to at least get the horse grenadiers to get a good... Oh, this unit. All over the place. No, don't... God damn it. Fine. I don't think I sent them that far forward. I think they moved after a target. I want to see the horse... Oh, now the horse grenadiers... Oh, it's actually working. The only problem, though, is the enemy moving away from grenades. Which means that most of it was just fancy fireworks. Right. I'm tired of this. Let's go ahead and conquer the center. You form square to make sure that those guys are gone. This unit's slowly dying. I'm gonna order the cannons to focus cannon fire on this location right here. You will move to that angle to be able to continue fire. You will be moved to there. The horse grenadiers perhaps has one more grenade to fire, so we'll move them all forward like that. The square has now secured that. Cannon starting to fire. If we're lucky, the horse grenadiers might have one shot left. No, they did not. And the poor British stuck there. Oh, they broke my cavalry units, and they even killed one of them, down to the man. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a pretty easy victory there, since they were strung out in such a long line. They absolutely slaughtered my men. Surprise, surprise. Not very welcomed one, but surprise nonetheless. Anyways, it's clear to me and everyone else that the battle is won. And clearly now, as I'm speaking these words, the enemy is wavering. And soon enough, London will be mine.
Here's the result of the battle. Sieges are always difficult, so at least it's not as bad as the siege of Quebec. This time around I only lost 1,800 men instead of 2,000 or 2,500. Still a lot though, since I cannot replenish them. Still, I've got an army of about 13,000 men, and the enemy just lost their capital and close to 6,000 troops. Unfortunately for the first army here, one of the heavy cavalry units was completely destroyed. Kind of careless, as I was focusing in on the fight inside. Well, would you look at that, the Helsinki regiments performed just as well as I thought they would. They bring up the top. And then the 6th Jönköping regiment didn't do too well, but the other 2 battalions did rather well, as we can see. Low losses and high kills. Heavy cavalry did pretty well, just that one unit, only one trooper survived. The important thing, though, is London is mine. We're back after the end turn. We've got ports blocked. However, it is in somewhere else, which is not important. We've got armed rebellion in Ireland, riots in New France, protests from Brandenburg and England, riots in England. We barely took the place and they're already doing riots. Tons of stuff is being built. I have no money though, so... However, look at that. The trade has gone from 17,000 to 124, meaning that I make 65 during the end turn. Tax income is close to 100,000, but as we know, it's slowly diminishing. Oh, they're really unhappy here. It will be easy enough to allow a revolt to go through and have this work. This does a lot. Upkeep cost for all naval units 16%. It will allow some units to be... I can recruit British line infantry if I wanted to. Not that is my main concern. My main concern is just actually to attack these areas and then allow them to revolt and become their own nations. So it's a good start to take out London. I do think though we're gonna move on from here rather quickly and was gonna head north. What we should do is, I don't know what we should do really, but yeah, you know what I think we should do? We should end this episode because I think that's enough of it. So the ports are open again. I'm making tons of money. The enemy is not really threatening me in any way, anywhere. They're starting to build up a few troops towards here. They seem to be moving that way. The British are actually laying siege to New York, Albany, compared to all the other New Yorks. But if they take that, I could easily swing in with my army and take, or my armies, I should say, and take that from them, and that will make it a lot easier. So by the next time, I'm hoping that we will be able to conquer Scotland, and I think once we conquer Scotland though, we've taken all England's home provinces, and everything in the New World should be turned into like colonies or rebel nations or something. And the war will basically be over. Then we will be just trying to tidy it up and trying to create these new nations: Ireland, Scotland, and then England. The thing though, or I guess all of it could be under Scottish Dominion. I'm sure that if I leave these as 3 different kingdoms, they'll fight each other, and whoever controls England will be the one that wins. So it could be just as well, perhaps, that we'll leave it as just maybe 2. So we'll put the House of Stuart in charge of Scotland and England, and then we'll leave Ireland to whoever the potato king is. Who knows? Right, enough dilly-dallying about that. Some reorganization, and then in the next episode, Scotland will fall. And on that note, I'll say as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.